This house is where I grew up. So I lived with my mom, my dad, my 2 sisters, my 1 brother, and my grandma. This is school I used to go to, Melinda C. Jones. So it was a big school. It went from elementary to middle. Had a lot of friends here, and we had a lot of lockdowns because people break into school. This school haven't been rebuilt since Katrina hit New Orleans, and that's been like 5 or 6 years now. It was kind of scary living in New Orleans because you used to hear gunshots. I mean, we got used to it. We used to be outside playing football and then hear a gunshot and stop for a minute and get back to it, It all started when New Orleans was hit by Katrina. It made us evacuate to Houston. When New Orleans hit Katrina, nobody really believed it. Everybody just kind of wrote it out because the last hurricanes just went right past. So everybody took it as a joke. But when Katrina hit, we had to go to the Superdome, which was not a good place to be after Katrina. There was a lot of violence. There was kids being missing, like parents actually walked around with a poster with a picture of their kids on the posters, and it says, they're going around with a poster and it says, "Have you seen my kid?" We all stuck together as a family. We all stayed together. The guards at the gate was getting mad at us. They started shooting. They started shooting in the air just to get us to calm down. Everybody got on the ground. I mean, it was hot. They had to drop us water from the helicopters. They used helicopters to cool us down. It was so hot. They used helicopters to come down on us, and we used the wind from the helicopters' wings to calm us down, to cool us down. We finally, a bus finally came and got us, and then we evacuated to Dallas, and we lived in a convention center in Dallas for like, I don't know how long we was living in there, but then we finally got a house in Dallas and lived there for a year. And then we moved to Houston.
We had lots of kids come in to our church from Katrina, and many of them, they didn't really behave as well as some of the kids that grew up in the church did, and so there were some issues there. Some of the parents were kind of anxious about having these kids that were different in their classroom with their kids, and there was some tension there. But one lady in particular, Mary Chapman, took an interest in them, and she really encouraged these kids to come to church and to be a part of the ministry there. She just invested in them in a way when no one else really wanted to take an interest.
We ended up putting a program together Steve, this third person, Steve Winbigler, was really good at the idea. What we need to do is this. And so we kind of added to that program and refined it and made it into something where we could reward the kids when they demonstrated good behavior instead of, shushing them for not. And then we decided we not only needed to reward them for individual instances of good behavior, but for patterns. Wow, you've done this for 4 weeks in a row. Woohoo. You get the extra recognition. The three of us who work with the kids started really noticing that Albert was quite the leader in his own quiet way. He was not only a leader, but he was very passionate in what he believed. He was very passionate about getting to heaven. We would talk amongst ourselves when the kids were gone and saying, that Albert, he's quite the evangelist. And so that it wasn't something we told him, but it became something that we just amongst ourselves, it's like that Albert, he's quite the evangelist, because he was continually making God part of his life. A lot of the people that we've had here in the youth group are because Albert invited them.
No one asked Miss Mary to help us and to pick us up, but she did, and I'm thankful that she did pick us up and start bringing us to church, because Memorial has influenced me to be a better person, and they influenced me to get up in front of the church and lead prayers and lead songs and even lead a sermon. And that all falls back on Miss Mary helping us, helping me get to Memorial and get more involved with the youth group.
Albert prepared his first sermon for the last LTC event, and he did really well. He got some special recognition at LTC. But more importantly than that, when it is the youth did the service, they led the service one day with what they had prepared for LTC. As a result of Albert's preparation for his sermon, he ended up baptizing his father.
The day he baptized me, my wife had talked. I told him I think I want to get baptized, and he baptized me. And then I wanted to change, get all my sins washed away, and be a better Albert, be a new Albert, And things started changing, Everything started getting better in my life. I just wanted to be a better person than what I've been in the past.
I saw my dad come up to get baptized, and I baptized him. It was one of the best days of my life. Since I've been in Houston, every close friend I know have been to Memorial.
A lot of people think it's just tough to invite your friends to church, and Albert just seems to make it pretty simple. He just says, "Hey, I'm going to church." He just invites them, and it's something that he enjoys and something that he's passionate about, and so he doesn't hesitate to ask his friends to be a part of it. It's nothing scientific or some deep spiritual question. He just says, "Hey, you want to come to church with me?" And he usually gets them there to play basketball in the gym. They start out by playing some basketball, and kids just connect. He brings his friends in, and they connect more with him and with other kids in our youth group, and then God uses those connections to eventually bring them to a point where they're ready to make a faith decision. And so it's not some deep, scientific, hard process. It's just a simple question. Hey, do you want to come with me to church?
See, Katrina influenced me in a good way and in a bad way. The bad way is that, we was homeless for probably a week. We spent 3 days in the Superdome, which was like the worst place to be doing, like after Katrina. But the good part was coming to Memorial and being with the youth group that we have. I'm real closer to God at Memorial.
You know, it's amazing to see how God works through horrible things. To see Him work in this horrific event, this bad situation, to bring so much good to His church and to these people.
One kiddo, his name is William Townsend, only lived here a little while, but in that time, Albert invited him to church. He became active. He was baptized, and by the time he moved, he left a Christian. And that was because of Albert.
I was so glad to see the growth in Albert's life and the growth in our youth ministry, because he came our way. And I'm just excited to see where God will take it from here. It just really brings to life the scripture, Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him and have been called according to His purpose. And
one of the things that I see with all of these kids is they're all connected. You make one association and you bond with that child, and they bring others, and you bond with those and they bring others, and it kind of like feeds on itself.
It's incredible the things that can happen when you take time to look outside of yourself and to watch Albert not just focus on himself, but to look around at his friends and see that they have a need for Jesus just like he does, and to really lean into them and encourage them in their faith to find Christ, and to in turn see them leaning into their friends.
I